still we are talking about student X, and student X now gave us a different question which a bit looks quite interesting. Student X still gave us a different question that looks a bit interesting. Now the student says the question was y is equals to, let me just show you here, 3 minus 2 over x plus 1. Yeah, and x is not equals to -1. So that is the condition, and this is the question student X gave us. The first equation, we're supposed to find an asymptote parallel to the x-axis. So here we are supposed to deal with asymptotes, and we're going to deal with asymptote A, asymptote parallel to Roman 1 x-axis, and also we are supposed to find asymptote Roman 2 parallel to the y-axis. So these are the two questions student X gave us. Now it's very simple. In order to work out this question, something that you need to remember is that parallel to the x-axis, this is called horizontal asymptote. This is the horizontal asymptote, which means the horizontal asymptote is usually picked from the constant term. So this is going to be y is equals to 3 is this horizontal asymptote. Then for you to find the asymptote which is parallel to the y-axis, this is called the vertical asymptote. And for you to find this vertical asymptote, you are going to take this part of the section of the equation, this section of the equation here, you equate it to 0. Then this is going to be x I'm checking whether you can be able to see this x here plus 1 should be equals to 0, so x should be equals to -1, and this becomes our vertical asymptote. Now how do you represent that? How do you represent that if we are talking of a graph? In order to represent this on a graph, you can see in this particular question, we are also expected to work out the asymptotes. Let me check. We were supposed to work out the asymptotes, and then once we have gotten the asymptotes, we are supposed to find the coordinates of the point where the curve crosses the x-axis and the y-axis, sections where the curve crosses the x-axis and the y-axis. A question for intercepts. So we are finding for x-axis and Roman 2 for y-axis. How do you work out that? Now, if you are given y for the x-axis, y is equals to 0, where this graph cuts, where the curve cuts the y-axis, y is usually equals to 0. Then in that way we are going to substitute. You replace this with y0 at this particular point, so we are going to have 0 is equals to 3 minus 2 over x plus 1. Yeah, So we shall have 0 because we have said we are going to replace with y equals to 0 at the x-axis. So this is going to be 2 over x plus 1 is equals to 3, because if you take this on the other side of the equal sign, it becomes positive. Then multiply the fraction both sides. We shall multiply here by x plus 1, here x plus 1. So we end up having 2 is equals to 3x plus 3. We take this 3 on the other side, we shall have 2 minus 3 is equals to 3x. Negative 1 is equal to 3x. X is equals to negative 1 over 3. So we have gotten the intercept. X is going to, this graph is going to cut the x-axis at negative 1 over 3, comma 0. Yeah, that's then for the y-axis or the y-intercept, where it's going to cut the y-axis at that point, x must be equals to 0. If the graph is cutting the y-axis, the x coordinates should be equals to 0. That's the logic we're using in this particular question. So we are going to say this is going to be what? This is going to be, you are going to take this equation that we were having here, you equate it to anywhere you have x, you are going to put 0. So this is going to be y is equals to 3 minus 2 over 0 plus 1, because it's x plus 1. So we are going to replace with 0 here. We shall have y is equals to 3 minus 2. Therefore, y is equals to 1. Therefore, the coordinate becomes 0, 1. Now, in the event you want to sketch, because I'm very sure that is part of the question student X is asking, you can be able to see it here. Yeah, student X is asking, the final question is sketch the curve. Let's look at that. Sketch the curve. Sketch the curve. Sketch the curve. That is part C. How do you sketch that curve? Let me just take you through how you can be able to sketch this particular curve that we are having here. Y is equals to 3 minus 2 over x plus 1. How do you sketch that curve? Yeah, so student X also was expected to sketch that particular curve, and the curve we are sketching, you can see here, we are told sketch the curve here, and the curve that we are sketching is y is equals to 3 minus 2 over x plus 1. How do we go about that? Let me just look for a different pen here so that we can be able to sketch that curve. And I'm going to take you step by step how you can be able to sketch it. Yeah, so the first thing you are going to do is to draw the x and the y axis. We have the y and the x axis. So we are going to label this as x axis, and then we shall have this as the y axis. So for us to sketch this curve that we are having here, something that you need to understand, we need first the asymptote. We had gotten the asymptote at this given point. Funga yo mulango. Funga yo mulango. We need the asymptote, which is the horizontal and the vertical asymptote, which means that this is x, y is equals to 3. So you go somewhere here. If we have y equals to 3 at this point, we are going to draw the horizontal asymptote at that point. That is the horizontal asymptote. The vertical asymptote is going to pass where x is equals to negative 1. So we have negative 1. which is going to be equivalent to, now tesieko murango sieko murango ibo language yam. So also we had identified that the intercept is going to be -1/3 0, so that is going to be where this is going to cut the x-axis, and it's going to cut the y-axis at 0, 1, somewhere here. 0, 1. So which means that this graph is going to go like that. It will never touch the y-axis, those dotted lines. The graph will never touch those dotted lines, and the other part of the graph is going to pass through here like that. So the asymptotes, those are the lines. This is for instance, this is the horizontal asymptote, and this is the vertical asymptote. Asymptotes are the lines where the graph is not going to cross. Follow for more.